Hello! Welcome to Amos Glade Reads Stories, Episode 1. Tonight I'll be reading The Skeptical Specter Spectacle, or The Haunting of Amos Glade. I am Amos Glade. I am your author and host for the moment. So one of my favorite television moments growing up was watching a show called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, and it was hosted primarily by Jonathan Frakes. As the show started, the announcer would proclaim, "Tonight, your challenge is to separate what is true from what is false. 5 stories, some real, some fake. Can you judge which are fake and which are fiction? To find out, you must enter a world of both truth and deception, a world that is beyond belief." It was one of my favorite shows. I loved that this world was bigger than the straightforward of what we see, that magic and nightmares could really exist, and it sparked my creative joy. It started me on a path of writing. It was especially wondrous since I grew up in a haunted house. So don't get me wrong, I am a skeptic at heart, but there are things that we just don't have any scientific explanation for, and maybe ghosts can be real. Until I'm proven otherwise, I'd like to believe. So I present you with my own version of Beyond Belief, and I'm going to provide 3 stories from my childhood, and you have the opportunity to decide, was it real or is it something that can be debunked? All right, story number 1, The Thing in the Closet. One night my family was having a movie night, but I was being pouty and not wanting to watch the movie that was chosen. I chose to watch cartoons on the bunny-eared black and white television in my parents' room instead. My parents had a large closet with 4 swinging doors. They were mirrored, so if you imagine, here's 2 of the doors, they swung outward, and there were 2 sets of this. Inside it was all connected into one big thing, and I would usually play in there like I was in a Narnia type situation. As I sat and watched television that night, out of the blue, all 4 closet doors started to swing open. Boom, 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 boom. And open, slam, I could feel the gusts of cool air with each open and slam. Each door opened and slammed at least a dozen times, within about 30 seconds before it stopped. Story number 2, The Voice in the Darkness. As an older teenager, I moved into the basement bedroom directly below my parents. I was the only child left at home at this point, no siblings, so I had my choice of prime rooms, and this one had its own phone line, so of course it's the one I'm going to choose. The only issue with the room was that the window happened to be in a window well below the backyard deck. The well was often open to let in light, but my father liked to go out and close it up at night. This would make it pretty pitch black. So I want you to try something. Close your eyes. Place one hand in front of your eyes. With your other hand, I want you to wave it back and forth and think about what you see. Did you see anything? That's how dark it was in this room. It was pitch black at night. So one night I woke up and there was a little light sneaking in from under the bedroom door, and thinking I had maybe left the bathroom light on, I stood up to go out and turn the light off. I barely took one step before I heard a scratching at the door. I stopped dead still. More scratches. I thought maybe there's mice in the wall. We lived on a farm area. So I go to the door, I put my hand on the knob, and suddenly, hello, came a childlike sing-song voice as a shadow of a very small foot blocked out a portion of the light, and the door let out another large scratch. Story number 3, The Demon in the Laundry Chute. I had a Fisher-Price People playset, and I love to create little villages in the hallway to my bedroom. My bedroom was right across the hall from my parents' room, and one night my siblings were all out of the house, and it was just myself and my parents, and I was playing a little bit before bed. "Amos," called my parents from down the hallway. I went to their room and asked what they wanted. What do you mean?" they asked. "You called my name." "No, we didn't. Go back to playing." I continued to play, and within minutes I heard again, "Amos." Frustrated by my parents' teasing, I returned to the room and I asked again, "What do you want?" "Amos, we weren't calling for you. Go back to go back and play or go to bed. It's getting late. So I walked back down the hallway to continue playing and noticed that our laundry chute, usually behind a cabinet door, had the light on. So I walked up to the laundry chute and opened the cupboard just as the light shut itself off. A deep, inhuman voice uttered from the laundry room below, "Amos." There's the 3 stories. Here's the reveals. Reveal number 1, the thing in the closet. Once the door starts slamming, I sat up in complete frozen terror. I rolled my stiff body off the bed, and my parents had a classic 1980s waterbed, and I crawled from the room, bolted down the stairs, and ended up just finishing the movie with my parents. I've wondered if there could be a small earthquake that would have jostled the doors, but nothing else in the house shook. No one else felt anything. Maybe it was the air conditioning, you might ask, but we didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have central air. So my family and my dog were all watching the movie, and I cannot find a scientific reason that this event occurred. So I can tell you that I had been having a dream about a man in my closet. He wore a little bowler hat, and he would walk back and forth from my closet to my parents' closet. After that night, never had that dream again. But it had been recurring before then. So is this story real? What happened? I've never understood. I'm not sure I'll ever know. But this did happen, and it was, at the time, it was very scary for me. Reveal number 2, the voice in the darkness. So, after gaining my composure from the fear, having just woken up in the middle of the night and not having my bearings to my surrounding, I calmly opened the door to find my dad's Amazon parrot. His name was Alf, and he was sitting on the ground, a little foot-sized shadow right outside my door. And "Hello," he said again, "pretty bird." So I took the poor little guy back up to his cage and told him he was a pretty bird, and I went back to bed. So this one was definitely debunked, but in the moment, at the time, this was terrifying. And let's say I had just gone to bed and my dad had come down and got the parrot, I never would have known otherwise. So it goes to show that some scary things can be debunked. Story number 3, the demon in the laundry chute. So trust me when I tell you that this voice that I heard was absolutely inhuman and taunting, and it was not a parrot. No siblings at home. My parents were tucked into bed watching TV, so I didn't even clean up my toys. I went directly to bed, terrified as a kid could be. This story is genuinely the scariest thing that ever happened to me as a kid. Lots of other little stories that happened throughout the house growing up, but this one was definitely the most terrifying. It still creeps me out, and I've still been haunted by that voice, by that imagery of whatever was down there to this day, and I can't even think of a single thing to debunk this. I was the youngest of the family, so all of my siblings were away to college or just out in general. No one was home but me and my parents, so I've got no clue what this was, how the light turned off, nothing. So is it real? Can you debunk it? What do you think? So anyway, I did grow up, and I grew to love horror stories as much as I love the magic of the real world. So I avoided fear for so long until I realized that the terror in a controlled environment is what really made me feel alive. And that has fueled my horror story love ever since. So I hope you enjoyed these little moments in my life, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you for reading. If you enjoy this and you ever want to read more, please feel free to visit my website, amosglade.com, and you can get more information there. Thank you.